You are now tuned into the sounds of
Big Nate Sports Talk.
It's on all the time, anytime.
Tuned in to Big Nate Sports Talk, the show that is on all the time, anytime. And now, ladies and gentlemen, your host, Nathan Snell.
Andy, for that wonderful introduction. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is your host, Nathan Snell, of Big Nate Sports Talk Podcast. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all staying safe. This is episode 442. Producers? Yes, thank you. 442. Wow. right up there. This episode, we're actually debriefing Maryland men's basketball. I know it's been about a week or so. About a week, almost going on 2 weeks. It's been a Sega, a soap opera, if you will, and it's been something with Maryland's basketballs. We've seen a lot, especially on the men's side. But before you get into that, there's a few things I want to say up front. I'm going to be previewing the Final Four for the men's and women's tomorrow and Friday. I'm just going to get those out the way. I'm going to do those solo. And then we got to get into the WNBA mock draft 4.0. There's a couple things that have happened. We're going to talk about that when we preview the Final Four for the women's side and men's, respectfully. And then I'm going to take a small break because then we got the WNBA draft. If you haven't seen anything yet on MarylandSportsBlog.com, just some things I have to go back and edit because when it was initially published, it didn't look right. So I have to fix it again. So I apologize because I had to take some stuff down and redo it again, all over again, formatting wise. So I'm just be patient. It will be back up. But that's all the announcements I have. And then the next episode, 443, we're actually debriefing Maryland women's basketball and how the season ended as well in the Sweet 16. And then 444, 445, Sweet Final Four previews, and take it from there. So let's talk about it. The men season came to an end. They lost to Florida 87-71. And for this first time since 2016, as a 4C, lost to the number one ranked Florida Gators. I mean, they just were a better team from a lengthwise. I didn't see anything different. I mean, when you have a guy like Alex Cordon, Walter Clayton, their offense, they scored the third most points in the country and have the second most highest offensive rating. They score at least 80 points out of the 29 out of 36 games. We only did that out of 16 times. Even though they weren't the best free throw shooting team, I didn't have to do much with that. I will say that by far this was our toughest opponent. They beat us on the glass. Even against Colorado State, we were out-rebounded by 10. And they didn't have a player that was, that wasn't even 6'8" in their lineup. So they've got two guys in a lineup that's practically 7 feet tall, and we didn't have it, and it showed. I mean, while Clayton finished with 13 points, you had 6 Florida Gators that finished in double digits, and 2 were off the bench. I mean, I really can't. I can't find the right words to say when your opponent finishes not only shooting 50% from the field, but damn near they shot the ball from 3 40%.
Mm-hmm. I can't defend that. What do you want me to say to that?
I think there was a lot of things that they were doing. And I mean, and I said the first 10 minutes of the game, I think kind of told how the rest of the game was going to look. Similar, the same way to Grand Canyon. We looked just inexperienced. I mean, we looked like little giant. We just looked like a deer in headlights. I mean, what was it? With about 10 and a half minutes, we were down 11. We turned the ball over 6 times. We allowed 5, and that spanned 5 offensive rebounds, 4 and 9 from the field. I mean, we just looked lost in the sauce. And rebounding what I thought was supposed to be our bread and butter, but simply wasn't. But there were times where we looked careless with the ball. I mean, we turned the ball over at least 6 times a game. But Florida, they looked sloppy with the ball. I mean, they committed 13 turnovers in the first half. Alex for Florida, I mean, he was less than 8 minutes into the game. He hopped off the floor. Jacoby Gillespie, he had 15 first half points. I mean, we just couldn't get anything going in the second half. We couldn't get consistency going. We couldn't get stops. We just couldn't find consistent flow. And I think it really showed. I mean, without a true bench, and I mean, I mean, I'm not going to sit there and put all the blame on their shoulders. I mean, it was rough. It was a rough loss. I mean, Derek Queen, which everyone is pretty much saying he's more likely going to go pro. Most mock drafts have him projected as a lottery pick. Finished with 27 points, 8 of 17. I mean, he was the only Terrapin who in the second half that actually gave me something. But I mean, Jacoby, his production in the second half, couldn't find it. Julian Reese and Rodney Rice had combined to 24 points. Senton Miguel was 7 shots on 7 shots and couldn't get a basket.
He didn't even try. Mm-hmm. I can't defend that. What do you want me to say to that?
So that was rough, but it is what it is. I do think that, and that's going to transition into my next point. We all know the elephant in the room coming into this game, and even prior to the Colorado State game, all the rumors regarding Kevin Willard leaving. Rumors were starting that he was going to take the job at Villanova. And obviously we know Kevin has Big East experience with Seton Hall. Okay, cool. And if you remember that last episode where I was strictly talking about Maryland men's basketball, it was a lot of gaslighting, where not only do you call the now former athletic director to the carpet in terms of what you want, in terms of what you're expecting. I mean, you expose the program's budgetary issues. I mean, you even brought an example. You couldn't stay an extra night for Christmas. You put the former athletic director where he was going, in which he ended up taking the job, and then not even in that whole week prior, when you were asked about which, even when Mike Loxley responded, and then when it was asked upon you about Mike Loxley's response, you deflected. And then you even turned around and said you don't know what your future looks like. So I say all that to say I feel like all of that was a distraction. I mean, losing to number 1 seed, and I mean, Florida is one of the best teams in the world. I mean, that's why there's 4 number 1 seeds going to the Final Four. I mean, from this team last year with a losing record, but I think this last couple from the round 32 until really a couple days ago, it's really been a soap opera, and it's been a disaster. And I'm kind of glad it's over. It's official as of Sunday. Kevin Willard has taken the job with Villanova, and Damon Evans is officially at Southern Methodist. Supposedly, Maryland gave Kevin what he wanted, and apparently that just wasn't enough. So I just am very, very confused on why you would go in front of media, you call out not only the athletic director, but at the same time you're calling out the school. And I get it. Maryland does have some fundamental changes it needs to do with NIL in terms of budget and revenue sharing. I understand that. But then to turn around and, in my mind, I already think he knew he wanted to leave. But I would have more respect if you just said, you know what? There's a better opportunity for me, and it's not here. I'm just going to move on. I wish this school all the best. There's some things I don't agree with politically here, but I'm going to move forward. And the fact that the only person you spoke to was the deputy athletic director, and again, I don't agree that you stood behind I don't agree how you took the decision like that and openly criticized the program, and you don't have any remorse for it. So I'm a bit confused. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for that. There was a screaming cat in the back of in the woods, and that was something. But anywho, back to what I was saying. So my issue is, I'm all for coaches, anyone taking better opportunities, right? But it's how you go about it, right? Yes, there are things Maryland needs to work on. But don't publicly call that out and then not even a week, you take the job and then didn't have the respect to sit the players down face to face and say, I'm taking the job. Did it via FaceTime. And my understanding from this article on ESPN, that essentially he's downplaying it. Essentially, that we need to move on. I mean, eventually, yes, as Maryland Terrapin fans, pundits, you name it, We will all move on. But you need to understand, respectfully, Mr. Willard, sir, you're getting heat because you publicly campaigned during a run where you hadn't seen this for quite some time. It's one thing if you were working behind closed doors and things came out of the closet. But again, it bothers me that, because in the article he talked about how maybe he could have been a little less, it was abrasive. And I'm sitting here like, well, were you abrasive the year prior when we didn't make anything? Were you abrasive your first year here? You know, I get it, but he didn't sign the extension, and I understand you're passionate, but that, to me, the passionate thing when he sent the article, that's BS. I get it. I look at the revenue sharing. I don't agree with it. The Big Ten is a football conference. However, I am a proponent that you can make football and basketball thriving at any school, depending on the conference. I mean, look at the SEC, for example. I use South Carolina, right? The South Carolina women's basketball team has been successful in terms of national championships, but their football team definitely draws in the money. Look at Alabama's football team, the Crimson Tide. Look at the women and the men. Same thing with Maryland. Like Brenda Freese is a great example. Is national champion. Her teams have been consistent in winning every year. The men haven't done that for the basketball side. Mike Loxley, you guys have to understand this because there's context here. Even prior when Damon Evans here, we were under Mr. Anderson, and that was a mess. And just for the record, like Mark Turgeon was basically exiled. Now, do I agree how things looked when how he ran things at Maryland? No, I don't agree with it. But I mean, like, he wasn't a bad coach. He just ran out of town. I feel bad for the guy, but the same thing with Mike Loxley. Mike Loxley literally took over a football program that was toxic. And he has had 3 bowl wins under his belt. Now, should he, again, there's levels to it, and hopefully, that he builds on the success. But the same thing here. You've got the Sweet 16 twice, and in your third year, you're coming out with all of these things. I'm not a fan of that. The Big East, you're going to have more resources. That's great. I mean, of course, you're going to have Scott Van Pelt, others who are major donors go at you. I just think that there are better ways how you handle things. Like at a workplace, we all have issues with how things are done in the office, sure. But there are things you don't say publicly to where you turn around and it not only damages, it makes the reputation of the business look good, but it also makes you look good because, wow, he might turn around and do that to that business. Because it's now the second school he's done that. Because if that was the case, I wouldn't have hired him 3 years ago. So I wish him all the best. I have no issue with it. But also, too, in fairness to Kevin Willard, I'm not going to say the name of this individual, but I see why he made the comment, TMZ. I think there's a better way in how you get stories, and the way how certain things were reported, I don't agree with it. And I'll get more into a little bit, but as of Sunday, he is now in Villanova, so they have a culture of basketball. Best of luck to them. I mean, it's what it is. So But as of the other day, we have a new head coach. It is a new buzz in College Park, and that is we got Buzz Williams from Texas A&M. I was very, very surprised on that because especially after Kevin left, I'm looking at guys like Robert Griffin III and all these others like coming up with random names. And at one point, Steve Blake put his name in there as a potential head coach, which wasn't bad. Juan Dixon and even the great Lynn Elmore, wrote a letter, which I thought was sympathetic. I understood where he was coming from. Like when you have a legend writing an open letter the way he did, that's how I know, you've that you've screwed up, in fairness. So Buzz Williams will be here. And I like it. I am a little curious to see what it will look like. My understanding is a 6-year deal. This was signed as of today, which is Tuesday. And looking at everything, he talked about the roster construction. He talked about, he agreed Tuesday. Today's Wednesday. He agreed. He had the meeting today, media availability. He talked about the roster construction. I think he's going to really build it now his way. We will talk about some of the portal transfers that have occurred because within Kevin leaving, we did lose a couple players. Jacoby departed. Jay Young departed. Yeah, it's been something. So I like the signing of Buzz Williams. He should bring it's something different. He's a proven winner. I think he's definitely brought the tenacity. I think for me, in terms of when there was a question asked about the NIL stuff, he made it clear that really wasn't his focus. That's where I have respect for a player. I mean, not for a coach to say it's not just about the NIL. I mean, we're getting a new basketball performance center. That not too many programs have that. Okay. And now their next thing is, look for new AD. Because they showed Manny Obisky giving Coach Buzz flowers. So I think the transition has been smooth because they put Miss Colleen Sorum as the interim director until they find a replacement for Mr. Evans. But I think we need to give him time. We let him build and make sure he has what he needs to make this successful. I think Maryland basketball will be okay. We're not taking a step back. I do think that the way how Kevin kind of left, is kind of like, how the Indianapolis Colts back in the day left. I mean, the Baltimore Colts left for Indianapolis in the bitter cold from Baltimore to Indy. We all know how that turned out. But yeah, so that's where we're at with Maryland basketball. But Jay Young, Jacoby Gillespie entered the transfer portal, and I wasn't surprised with that. Tafara, Kapar, he entered the transfer portal. Who else? The 7-foot kid. I can't think of his name. He entered the portal too. Braden Pierce. I want to say that. I know his last name is Pierce. He entered the portal as well. And then our 4-star commit, Chris Jeffrey. But ironically, he is either us or Villanova ironically. So, yeah, that's where we're at as of the last few days. So it's been a soap opera, and I'm glad it's over. I think we can officially move on. Again, I wish Kevin Willard all the best at Villanova. I mean, again, I'm all for everybody getting an opportunity, but sometimes it's how you go about it. I understand this is a business, but sometimes you got to show a little professional, be a little bit professional in how you go about it. And I think how you went about it, I don't agree with it, but it is what it is. So that's enough with me on that. Let's get into the one final thought after this commercial break. And we're back with one final thought.
Thoughts are running through my mind, so I took some time to find a minute or two to organize.
My producer wanted me to clarify it's Braden Pierce. Braden Pierce, who has 4 years of eligibility, entered the transfer portal on the 1st of April. So thank you, Eric, for that clarification. Much appreciated to you, sir. The one final thought is this is a journalism. First and foremost, I want to let's just get this out the way, because it needs to be said. Today, it's media availability. I'm not going to say the individuals' names out of respect, because I really want to. This is a teaching moment for everybody. Number one, there seems to have been an issue with how, from a decorative perspective, we should have made everything look for Buzz Williams. Apparently it was sloppy. Actually, let me do it. Let me explain to you this way. Let me pull it up. Okay, this is what was said. Overall, I thought the Buzz Williams press conference was a bit hastily planned, sloppy, missed opportunity. Overall presentation was lacking. The interim AD was scattered and less convincing in selling the decision that was just made. They just made. Both shaky and frankly out of their element. Coach Williams' introductory speech was rambling with no sense of the program and he's now leading. His monologue opinion on teams seemed prepared for another occasion. What I got from this is we are in desperate need of some leadership from the administration athletic department. Some tangible structural changes and forward thinking needs to be hired. Sooner the better. Oh my gosh. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. I'm not going to say the individual's name, but I mean, we are not even. We're not even 24 hours, and we're already criticizing. I mean, are we being for real? I mean, what did you want? What did you want? Did you want them to have balloons? Did you want them to have a band? Did you want? I mean, the Maryland band was there. I mean, people were there. It's an introductory press conference. What I mean, what is this? Like we're supposed to go all out. We have to understand something, y'all. Your previous coach, the 10th head, I mean the 10th head coach left, leaves abruptly for a new job, and you have to find a new one. So of course you have to go out there and find somebody. Oh, on the top of that, your AD leaves before the Sweet 16. Now, is the administration perfect? It could be better. But I mean, everything is not perfect. I mean, what did you, I mean, like, okay, next point. I want to give to Alex. Alex, we met at the last game for the women as they were going to Alabama. And there are some things, I came to his defense because something occurred that I did not like. I think this is journalism 101. And this goes back to my initial point when I said I see why Kevin Willard in the one media availability referenced the publication as a TMZ. First and foremost, and Alex Frum, I got to connect with him. That's his name. He works for DC News Now, ABC News. He actually is a professor there at College Park. And he's covered the Maryland women's basketball games from time to time. But even on the women's side, when we're having events like March Madness or even after Selection Sunday, each program has their communication specialist. So obviously you put in a request to, hey, can I have a one-on-one with example, Bree McDaniel, right? Okay. That is my time that I requested with Bree McDaniel. I don't think it's fair, but it's also ignorant at the same time, because you work for a news, because Alex is with a news station. This is not on Alex, but another person who does not work with you or him is taking video of the interview that his colleague is doing with Coach Buzz. And my thing is, a quick email or a quick text message, hey, can I have some time with Coach with X, Y, and Z? Now, Alex called that out publicly, and rightfully so. But I think it was also funny that the person he calls out kind of gaslights him and says, you could have reached out to me sooner. But in that moment, why are you recording again, that's a lot of time between that reporter and coach. That's like me going, for example, use the women's side. If Kareem Copeland for the Washington Post, right, is doing an interview with Sailor Poffenbarger, and I just happen to stand right there, oh, I'm going to take video of this. That's not only disrespectful that's disrespectful because that's an interview that he's doing one-on-one. I have to be respectful of that. That's journalism 101. If you want an interview time with Coach, you should have requested that. But it's just, I feel like since all this, from the rumors until now, I think the person's just kind of walked out, their chest open, like, yeah, see, I got it right. See, I was right. Now they, walking around thinking, big stuff. And again, I don't have any beef. I don't want smoke. I'm just expressing how I feel from all of this until now. And I think it's like, you got too much dip on your chip, and let's bring it down a little bit. Okay. You did your reporting. Great job. But also too, you have colleagues that are trying to do their job. Have some respect for that. I think that was classless to gaslight on social media and then act like, oh, let's just move on. But it is what it is. But I just want to just say, like, journalism 101, y'all, like, have respect for your colleagues. And especially if you're trying to get into this realm of media, because people notice that and they won't forget it. Because trust me, there are some people that will really, and I mean really, will hold that against you. But those are my one final thoughts. But stay safe, touch grass, check on loved ones. Thank you for tuning in this episode. Congratulations, Coach Buzz Williams. Welcome to the University of Maryland College Park. I think it's going to be a great experience for the men. I think the men will be fine. And again, we're going to give him time. Got to give him time to rebuild this program. Big ups to Derek Queen, whatever he decides to do. If he decides to go pro, I wish him all the best. They're getting a great player. Julian Reese, I wish we had more time. The last 5 years, I just wish, I feel bad for him. From Mark until now, I just really feel like I wish he just was really never truly in a stable situation. But I'm glad he got to go out really with an opportunity to go back to the Sweet 16, finished with 1,000-point career rebounds, over 1,000-point scorer. He's up there with Lynn Elmore, Alyssa Thomas. I can go on. But he's definitely another accomplished Maryland Terrapin. So I wish him all the best in what he does, all those things. So that's it. But until then, check this episode. This will be up tomorrow. And then we'll talk about Maryland's basketball as well next episode. And then we'll get into the Final Four for the men and women's. And we'll talk soon. Okay? Peace. Stay up.
In this moment, yes.
Thank you for tuning in to Big Nate Sports Talk. If you enjoyed that episode, be sure to like, subscribe, and share Big Nate Sports Talk. It's on all the time, anytime.
And I want to thank you. All I want to do is say thank you.
In this moment, yes. I cannot say what's wrong or right. No. It's not hard to fool me. No. 'Cause I'm addicted to the good life. Yes. Yeah. Lead the way. Tell you good night.